our next guest, Ed, I forgot already.
Ed Crane.
Ed Crane. Ed Crane is involved in a fantastic organization, not just for seniors, for veterans, for all, many people who. You tell us about it. The name of the organization is
My Assistance Dog Incorporated.
Okay. We used to, when I grew up, they're what do you call CNI dogs? That's
Correct.
the only thing you saw.
And they were really the start of this, and that was over a century ago.
A century ago,
yeah,
wow.
definitely.
And it was amazing what we would learn about those CNI dogs. But there's more now. Assistance. Is it assistance dogs or assistance animals? It's always dogs.
Assistance dogs primarily are dogs that are capable of assisting people with the full spectrum of disabilities. We're very used to understanding seeing eye dogs, but there are hearing service dogs. There are also service dogs for the full spectrum of disabilities. Mm-hmm. Myself, I'm 62, and I deal with epilepsy each and every day. And my partner, who is here next to me,
I think we see now. You're not particularly old. You're kind of young in my book.
Always think of myself.
You're not blind.
Think of myself as young. I'm not blind, but
still,
but my disability, the epilepsy, offers me challenges constantly each day. Epilepsy. And my partner here is able to primarily warn me in advance of an oncoming seizure. At the same time, I have issues from epilepsy with balance and falling, and he wears a harness that provides support.
Almost like carrying a cane or something, but the dog.
Correct. And I get that loss of balance without any warning. Mm. And I've just gotten used to, over the years, he's my third partner now in the past 12 years. I've gotten used to lightly touching that harness, and then when balance becomes a problem, my brain signals to my hand to grab quickly. And I can tell you, in all the years now that I've had 3 dogs, when they've been by my side, I haven't fallen and injured myself. Oh. Whereas prior to my first partnership, and in between, when one dog retired and another dog was presented to me, I had falls and injuries and some broken bones.
Well, epileptic seizure comes along. You have no idea. It's
correct.
Coming, and you can just follow. You could be badly injured.
Absolutely.
Hit your head. And
I had brain surgery about 15 years ago, and as a result of that, we reduced the frequency. Mm-hmm. But the key is I still suffer the seizures, and balance and falling is the big issue for me.
Right. Well, tell us how the dog interferes with the seizure.
Well, what happens is he was specially trained by a nonprofit organization called Canine Partners for Life. They're located in Cochranville, Pennsylvania. Been a member of my family now for my 3 partners. They trained him with a garment that I sent them. Well, I sent him each time an undershirt that I wore when I had a seizure. And then they trained them, my partners, for months to recognize that scent. And then once we were partnered and met and then trained together, each of my dogs now warns me because they can recognize that scent from my body once it's emitted, rub their head on my knees, and that tells me to lay down immediately.
Yeah, so you don't fall down.
Correct.
So you're going down.
And if I don't lay down within a few seconds, the dogs have been trained to bump me.
Bump you.
To say, hey, Ed, we want you down now.
Down, yeah.
And I'll normally have a seizure 15, maybe 20 minutes later. That's the type of advance I get. Yeah. And then when the seizure is over, the partners will come over, lick my face, giving me a signal to not stand up, but to sit up, because it takes a while to get balance back.
Now, is it ever a case where dog's saying, hey, you better lay down, you better get off your feet, and just a relaxing gets you through without having a seizure?
No, because they're trained only to perform that specific task for that reason. I mean, they do other things that, of course, they want to get involved in performing other tasks. You know, these dogs are trained to do so many tasks out there, opening, closing doors, pushing buttons, and they want to actively do that for us. But they're trained specifically with certain tasks for these types of emergency situations. Yeah, definitely.
It's a miracle. I mean, remember in the day, but especially before we were born, what happened to people with epilepsy. Just they institutionalize them or something. You know,
correct.
Possessed by the devil or something like that. Yeah. And now look how far we've come in understanding it and finding ways to live with it.
And that works basically the same for diabetes. It's a scent detection that the dogs are trained to perform a specific task afterwards to warn the individual along the way. So, what these dogs do is give us back our freedom.
Right. Now you have an event come up. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, besides getting involved in being a resource for the public, which is what my assistance dog is, we try and help everybody understand these dogs, research getting a dog. We're involved with a lot of organizations throughout the country. As a matter of fact, on March 28th, the National Blind Veterans Association sponsors National Blind Veterans Day throughout the country. These veterans have been wounded in action and as a result are blind, and we're looking to broaden the recognition and understand the challenges these veterans face every year. And got a call about 3 weeks ago to see if we could get some support in the state of California. And I reached out to both the Assembly and the Senate here in Sacramento. And this week I got confirmations from both the Assembly and the Senate that proclamations have already been written. And we're going to take a trip down. Of course, my buddy here, Zern, and myself, and we're in touch with about 7 or 8 organizations here in the state of California to get representation by these blind veterans who we want to be able to recognize and honor that special day. So we're proud that we were able to come through and get this recognition going in our own state, but we definitely want to honor these men and women who have had a tough tragedy as a result of service to our country. So looking forward to that.
And the CNI dog, or for blind veterans, the same category: service animals.
Absolutely.
Service animals for epilepsy, for diabetes.
And I just want to also make it clear that this is for all blinded veterans, meaning that there are many of them out there who do not have any type of assistance dog, but we're honoring the veterans that day.
Honoring the veterans.
So we want to make sure even blind veterans, hopefully we can get some more out to say thank you for their service.
Everybody should thank them. Now, and not to make light of anything, but I think there's some confusion. You see on TV, people have to take a comfort animal on an airplane.
Correct.
Is that different? Way different?
Yeah, it is. Any
right?
type of service dog or assistance dog has to be fully trained to be neutral at all times and respond to specific medical needs. For example, my dog is able to warn me of my seizures. He's able to provide me balance and support. He's been trained specifically to assist me. You've got emotional support animals out there that are just a different category.
Yeah.
Now, again, I want to be able to say that there are some emotional support animals that are trained service dogs, a small category. Many of them help veterans, okay? But the bulk of the definition of emotional support animals is there that they are not specifically trained. They're not up to the same tasks, but there is protection under state law for housing, because they still provide a tremendous service, but it is a little bit different definition.
Now, your dog can go anywhere you can go. There's
Correct.
You go in the restaurant, you go in the supermarket, anywhere.
Well, Zern has been trained to, number one, be neutral. You can see he is focused on me here. He has been trained to be silent along the way, and he focuses on me to perform tasks. He wants to do his job and help me, and of course he provides a level of normalcy in my life. Okay, and what difference does that make? I went probably 3 or 4 months in between my partner Alipo, who retired, who's been here before,
Alipo?
Who's at home.
Yeah. Oh, you still have that dog.
I still have the Alipo at home. And in between, all of a sudden, if I'm home with Alipo, I get the warnings. But whenever I went out, I didn't have the balance and support. I had to go back to a cane. And there were times when I didn't know a seizure was coming on. That's the difference.
First, the dog gets training, and you get training.
Absolutely.
What about the public? Because I'm sure the public, they want to come pet the dog or have an interaction. How should the public be trained? Can you tell the public something now?
Well, the reason we set up My Assistance Dog Incorporated 5 years ago, and it's based right here out of Fresno, Clovis area, and we're seen around the world. We're with the biggest site there is, was to educate the public. We wanted to show support for the assistance dog community. We wanted to reach out and help anybody who wanted to be educated about these special animals, who were seeking a dog. But we also wanted to help people who are partnered with dogs. We answer questions with respect to veterinary care, resources available to help them afford it, those types of things. So we set up a website and a nonprofit organization as an information source. That's what we are along the way.
So if somebody has questions, and there's got to be people watching and saying, oh my goodness, I didn't know that the dog could do all those things. I need to find out more of a husband or a relative or themselves. Where should they search? Should they go to your website or should they call you?
We're on the website. It's My Assistance Dog Incorporated. And, of course, we have a tremendous following on Facebook out there. And I'm available by phone. Somebody wants to leave a message. All of those are ways to access who we are and what we do along the way. And, along those lines, we're involved right now in the state capitol with legislation that is in process. The term is AB 169, which is the guide, signal, and service dog injury or death. That's what this legislation is. And there are loopholes in the law here in California when a dog like my partner here is attacked, particularly if he was not harnessed and he was out in the yard playing or something like that. There's no current protection for his injury or potential death. And legislation has been put up twice before over the last 4 years to close some loopholes and improve that, and went through the state legislature, but failed to get signed by the governor twice.
But we have a new governor.
We have a new governor, and I've already been down to Sacramento once, and we're in the process to try and get this passed. I feel pretty confident, knock on wood, that the Senate and the legislature will get this together, and now it's a matter of sending emails to the governor, and I've already started that process along the way. So those are some of the things that we're involved with day to day along the way here. So we want to help the public, but we also want to help the assistance dog community out there.
Very good, very good. And those who need an assistance dog.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You have a lot of notes here. Did we cover everything? Anything?
We're here to provide assistance any way we can, and if there's a way, even a simple question, nothing is too simple not to ask us.
Okay. Fresno, My Assistance Dog
Incorporated.
Inc. inc.org. MyAssistanceDogInc.org. Our guest is Ed Crane, and call him up if you 297-9286. It's area code 559-297-9286. Go to the website, go to the Facebook, get all the information you have. But the guy with the information is Ed Crane right here in Fresno, who's not only is an advocate, but he lives it day to day.
And my partner is right here helping me every minute of every day.
Every minute of every day. It's
thank
a
you
miracle
very much.
story.
Oh,
the nearest normal life you've had. In
a long time, yes,
time. Great.
definitely.
I'm glad to hear the story. We, by the way, if you didn't get the information down, call me here at Central Valley Talk. I'll give you Ed Crane's direct number. We'll be back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.